The Brooklyn Nets have traded for All-Star James Harden, but we want to know, how will James Harden exactly work in Brooklyn, and what did the other teams get in their trades? Alright, man. Let's eat.
What time is it? Game time! Woo!
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Edwin, aka King Jalof, and we are back again. Shout out to everybody that keeps on supporting me. I really appreciate you guys. And also, by the way, if you love soccer, right? If you love soccer and you just a fanatic for soccer, go check out my boy's page, premleague.media, because he just got some new merch. It's looking pretty nice right now. I'm not gonna lie, I like the maroon kind of fit. Anyways, aside from that, let's get down to business because we got some basketball news, man. Some business moves have been happening, notably in Brooklyn, because Brooklyn, oh my god, listen, I could be wrong. I didn't think this would happen, but it happened. Listen, James Harden just got traded to the Brooklyn Nets as a part of a four-way team trade. So we'll see how that goes so far, but let's take a deep dive into how this happened. Like, how did all this happen? What are all the interchangeable parts, the moving parts that are happening right now between these four teams: the Nets, the Pacers, the Cavaliers, and obviously the Houston Rockets? So let's get down to business. We start off with the Houston Rockets, and they obviously, we're not gonna start with the Houston Rockets. We're gonna start with the Brooklyn Nets, right? The biggest news right now: the Brooklyn Nets. They get James Harden. Okay, so how will this work? I don't know. I don't think it would work. Listen, and I'm being totally honest here, guys. I think that James Harden, aside from the fact that he's one of the best scorers to ever play in this game, I get that. But you have to look at it this way. James Harden coming to Brooklyn, what does that do? Does it show that it could work out based off of the talent? Based off of the talent, they could make a good run, but James Harden to me isn't that good of a off the ball player, you know, like, and people have said that in the past that he's actually a good off the ball player. I haven't seen it. So yes, he could be a decent off the ball player, but he hasn't been an effective one to me, in my opinion. That's one reason why I don't think it'll work. Now, second, the Nets have no bench now. They have no bench. Jared Allen's gone. Tayshaun Prince is gone. Caris LeVert is gone. You know, these are guys that were main pieces to that bench, and that's why they were so good. I mean, they had depth pieces. I wouldn't say they were good, but they had depth early on in the season. You know, they're still a work in progress. They're 6-6 right now. I get that, but they're a work in progress. But they have depth pieces. Now they have no depth. You know, those guys are gone now. So when James Harden comes, when James Harden, Kyrie, Kevin Durant are, you know, not all on the same time on the court together at the same time, then who are they going to rely on to score? Maybe Spencer Dinwiddie, I get that, and maybe they can find ways to interchange the lineup so that at least one of those three All-Stars will be in the second unit. That could work out too, but in overall, they don't have that much depth pieces. They don't have that much of a bench. That's facts. So they traded most of them away. Most of the important players away. Jared Allen, for me, he was the best big man. I think he was the best defensive big man too at that. Tayshaun Prince was a good backup. I mean, he was a good bench player, as well as Caris LeVert. This guy is a cold killer, Caris LeVert. Like, you gotta give him his props, because what he did in the bubble was no joke. But anyways, aside from that, I also do think that, and it's pretty obvious, that Kevin Durant, Kyrie, these guys, all-stars, put up great, fantastic numbers, but one of their numbers is going to drop. Well, probably both. You never know. But most likely Kyrie's, because we all know that Kevin Durant is still that dog, Slim Reaper. He's that guy still. So he's going to get his buckets anytime, anywhere. But probably Kyrie will be the most affected by this deal, I would say. But listen, I gave you guys all the negatives as to why I don't think it'll work. But let's look at the bright side. Like, they have a big three. They have a competent, great, fantastic, talented big three. You're talking about guys who could score at will at any time, unguardable. And that's a good thing. That's a big thing, because obviously in this league, not just in the East, but especially in the West, but more so in this league, you need guys, you need superstar power. That's how you're gonna win. You know, sometimes it could be in a rare case where you have the likes of a team going far or making a far finals run because they work so well with each other. But in most cases, you need stars to push you forward. So they have a big three: James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie. All three are unguardable. All three can get a bucket anytime they want. Like, I like that about them. They're going to be exciting to watch for the rest of the NBA season. But on top of that, let me mention this. The Brooklyn Nets now have the best group of players who are the best scorers off the dribble, which means that they can get a bucket, obviously, anytime they want to. Before, I could make a case for the Celtics as one of the top teams to do that, but now it's just the Brooklyn Nets. Like, Brooklyn Nets, they got it. You guys got it, man. Like, seriously. And now the Nets are the favorites to win the East and to go to the finals too. So we'll see if they live up to those expectations. But now let's move on to another team in the trade deal, the Houston Rockets. So the Houston Rockets got a ransom for James Harden. They better have, because you cannot let James Harden go out for less than what they got. Especially when you get the likes of Jrue Holiday, all these other players that got traded before, get multiple first-round picks for these guys. Come on. Like, it's not happening, man. You got to get a ransom for James Harden. A ransom. So, the Houston Rockets got Victor Oladipo, Dante Exum, Rodion Kurucs, 3 Brooklyn first-rounders, 1 Milwaukee first-rounder, and 4 Brooklyn first-round swaps. Wow. Wow. Okay. So, Houston, congratulations, because even though you did lose a phenomenal player in James Harden, I'm not disputing that at all. You lost him, but he was sort of creating a little havoc in Houston, and that could be a distraction for the organization in itself. So, congratulations for getting rid of that problem. I personally think that James Harden, even though he is a good player, he's a great player at that, definitely one of the best scorers in all time, he was still, to me, an issue as to why Houston never went far. Because, listen, I personally think that the teammates that played with James Harden before, like the all-star teammates, the good teammates that played with James Harden before, it didn't work out. It all didn't work out. So who was the problem? Probably not them, because when he went somewhere else, they excelled, they did better. So it has to be James Harden. It has to be. But anyways, that's neither here or there. Houston, good job towards looking forward for the future, because you guys got hella pieces to make this rebuild at least fun to watch. Like, you guys got more pieces. You guys might be competing for the Thunder now in terms of having a better future, because this is a ransom for James Harden. Now, the big three, right? You have Boogie Cousins, DeMarcus Cousins, John Wall, and now Victor Oladipo. On their day, now let me be the first to say, on their day, they could make some noise. And this is actually a good big three, if you ask me, because Victor Oladipo, John Wall, that's a good backcourt, and then Boogie Cousins, who was one of the best big men in the league prior to him getting injured. You know, and he probably might be, you know, if he gets back into that groove, that shape. Stops getting ejected every game, then he could make a case for himself. But this guy can never stay on the court. What's going on? Whether it's injury or just getting ejected, he can't stay on the court. Anyways, I do think that if these three players stay healthy, they can make some noise in the West. But I will say this: they probably are not contenders for the Western Conference anymore. Like this team, I think that it's too risky, it's too fragile. Like, one of these 3 players on the team right now is an injury away, God forbid obviously, but they are an injury away from being out for a longer period of time. So it might not work out. But anyways, on paper though, it looks nice. So we'll see how that goes in the future. I do think that Houston will be a playoff team, but how far will they go? Maybe second round, maybe the second round, the conference. But other than that, probably nothing more than that. I don't see them going any further than that. Now we go to the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers got a second round pick And on top of that, let me just make sure. Yes, they got Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert. Unpopular opinion. I'm gonna say it here first. Karis LeVert is better than Victor Oladipo. You heard it here first. And only because of Victor Oladipo's health. Now, on Victor Oladipo's day, when he is healthy, no question is he better than Karis LeVert. But I'm talking about right now, Karis LeVert gives you more in terms of being durable, in terms of scoring. Maybe right now he does. And on top of that, you can rely on him. You can rely on him. You know, he's not a bad player. He's definitely one of those guys that could score off the dribble as well too. He's cold. He's tough. And I'm saying this before, like what he did at the bubble, he took over that Brooklyn Nets team. It was no joke. So even though they didn't really go too far, but what he did was he was the man for that team at that point in time. So Karis LeVert comes in, and for the Indiana Pacers, I don't really see them. They're doing pretty good right now, but I pretty much see the Indiana Pacers as the middle of the pack team in the East, probably like 4th or 5th seed, maybe the highest 3rd. But they will definitely be a playoff team. Second rounder they get, but second rounder, not really too much. It doesn't really do anything. But definitely, I do like the trade for Indiana, because Victor Oladipo, even though he is an all-star player, or was an all-star player, he's injury prone, and he's not the same player as he was before. And surely he's working his way back into that form. But you know, now he's gone. He's gone to Houston. You got a guy like Karis LeVert who is proven and can do the job. So we'll see how that goes in the future. Indiana, you guys made a good move on this trade. And last but not least, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jared Allen, Tayshaun Prince is who they get. Good move, good move, good move. Because you have Jared Allen, who's a good defensive big man, one of the best defensive big men in the league, and he gets to come off the bench to, you know, support Andre Drummond. That's one. And two, Tayshaun Prince has been a proven commodity from the bench. Like he's been a great, I don't say great, but he's been a good bench player. He was one of the Brooklyn's main bench players before he got traded, and now you get to add him to that Cleveland Cavaliers lineup. We'll see how that goes. He could probably even start. I'm not even gonna lie. He could probably start too. So that could help out a team that's 5-7 at the moment right now, and we'll see how that goes in the future. But guys, let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. Who won this trade? Was it Brooklyn? Was it Houston? Cleveland? Or was it Indiana? Now, I will say this, even though I'm kind of disappointed that this happened, only for my team's sake, because they are in the East. But the Nets did win the trade. They are the winners for today, because, listen, although I don't really think it'll work out like people expected to or wanted to because of the talent on the team itself, but nevertheless, the big three is scary. James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. My gosh, that's gonna be a scary sight to see, and I'm gonna hope I'm gonna hope that my team gets its act together, as well as these other teams. The East is getting harder and harder, man. Boston Celtics are there. You got the Orlando Magic are doing good right now. That's how crazy things sound. But the Boston Celtics, the 76ers are doing good. You guys still got Milwaukee. So we'll see how that goes in the future, man. Things are kicking up right now in the East. But guys, that's all that we have for this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the video, to the channel. As you know, and as I just mentioned, the Brooklyn Nets are the winner for today. Guys, always remember, as I grow, we grow together. Stay tuned for the next video. Boop.